for you too. So today we're going to work on a real simple technique to set up a switch stance. So a lot of times whenever we're kickboxing, we get real stuck in kind of the 1-2, 1-2 kick, like in very basic combos, which really limits us sometimes on kind of that natural angle cutting that we need to be working on. Because a lot of us just, those big swooping angles are a little harder to set up in MMA versus in kickboxing or boxing, where you have less tools and more working in your favor, right? So we're going to work on a couple switch stance options that I like because they cut a good angle for either really hard strikes or really easy takedowns. Both are good. So I'm here, I'm working with Dewey. All we're going to do is we're going to start by setting up just kind of that basic 1-2. Bop, bop, boom. And then we're going to throw a 1-2-1. But as we throw that 1, I'm going to step across. So I'm 1, 2. As I step, bop. Here, it's called a switch cross. Bop. Now the nice part about that is it sets up a couple really nice options. I'm going to have you guys drill 2. One is going to be just a rolling hook off that right hand. So it becomes your lead hook, but it's your power hand. So we're here, 1, 2, 1. But the nice part is it cuts that angle and throws a lot of people off because you're past them at that point. Because if me and Dewey are working here and he's used to 1-2, oh man, 1-2, oh man. Like we're in here and we're trading those, and I go 1-2, 1. Bop. It sets up a really nice hook there, which I like. Now, the other nice part is, because kickboxing's stupid, you should always be trying to wrestle. You're here 1-2, 1. There's also driving in for just that basic double or snatch single, kind of whatever shot you like there. But drill out 3 and 3. So 3 of the punch, 3 of the shot, and then switch. All right. But like I said, the big thing is when I'm here, that 1-2 is using that switch cross to cover that switch. I'm using that to mask that because now I can step back in and hit that shot, or I can stay in that switch stance, bop. Party options start to build from there in striking, but nice part is it's a great way to cut an angle and get off his center line. Because a lot of the times if me and Dewey are here, like you end up in kind of this, we're both trying to cut angles, but he's going to start really starting to recut mine. So when I go 1-2, 1, I'm off that angle and he's got to cut across my foot to get reset or back totally out. Both of which are going to set me up for good things in life. Questions on that? 1, 2, 3. All right, so one of the other ways I like to set up a switch, especially when I have kind of a longer range fight going on. So depending on the guy you're fighting, you may not want to be in kind of that real close, we're in kind of this boxing range stance. Because there's a couple different ranges you can end up in. Kind of that long kickboxing range, where we're just on kind of the edge of each other's kicks, but we can kind of disengage. That kind of foot-to-foot Thai style range, where you're kind of here, and then you're in that kind of pocket boxing wrestling range, right? Sometimes you end up in one of those longer range fights, and it behooves you to kind of stay there, right? So one of the ones I like a lot of the times is that rear teep to that switch. So when I'm here, what I'm looking for may not even be to make contact with it. I'm trying to drive him back. So if I can, boom, I'm trying to kick him square in the stomach, or one of the easier ones is the middle of that thigh. You cannot attack straight to the knee. Always careful about that. You can't kick him in the dick. But boom, I always kind of go for that mid-thigh. It's kind of a good aiming point. A lot of people have kind of that short line or kind of where your shorts are. It's a great aiming point. But when I'm here, what I'm looking for is to get him to get that step back. So even if I don't make contact, boom. I like that setup because it either forces him into his open stance, or if he just slides back. So like a lot of times what'll happen is you'll go to do this and people just slide back. Boom. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So he'll just slide back here. Bop. I like this one because it sets up that lead uppercut really well into that too. So I'll throw it. I don't care if it makes contact. I like that lead uppercut into that too quite a bit. So we're here, I'm moving around, you know, staying at the end of that range. Boom, I want to switch. Bop, boom, bop. Reaching over for that kick. Because you may not get a great angle off of it, but because you've switched stances, it takes, unless they're just really smooth at kickboxing, it takes a second for your brain to switch from ortho to southpaw. And that little bit of a tactical delay is what gives you that bop, bop. Nice part is, you can either finish that combination with bop, bop, boom, into some wrestling, or you can go bop, bop, you know, into some more strikes. But using that up to off that lead, or off that rear upper, or that rear front kick. Bop, boom. You can start to set up some different strikes and open up some combinations, or at least just threaten it. Because sometimes just switching to southpaw messes with people's brains. Like if I'm here and it takes them a second for their brain to switch, then you go back ortho. Yeah, then you go back ortho, and you can start to play with people's minds where they're not sure where to circle. Where's this power hand at? Where's that hook going to come from? You can start to get people too much in their brain. Because if I let Dewey flow with his kickboxing, he's not thinking a lot. He's just kind of flowing. But if I can get it to where he's like, oh shit, which way am I circling? Am I circling? Oh, no, you're not. Just kidding. If I can get to where, even if I'm not throwing a ton of power strikes off that switch stance, I can get your brain in that flip-flop mode, which can throw them off just long enough to get you that one good strike. Because once you start that momentum going your way, you start to take more and more control of the fight. Does that make sense? Right, chill her out. 1, 2, 3.
So when you kick, you switch stances, that uppercut is your...
Boom, it would be your right hand.
It would be your right lead uppercut, so whichever
hand is in front.
Wrong left, I go switch.
Boom, now you bop. Yep.